Good morning, all. I'm Raja Prabha, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Hindustan Institute of Technology, Coimbatore. Now, I'm here to present the subject of clean coding in Devops, on the topic of introduction to Devops. First, we can see what is Devops. Devops is nothing but it is a combination of two words, that is development and operations. It is a collaboration between the development and IT operations to make the software production and deployment in an automated and repeatable way. It helps to increase the organization's speed to deliver the software applications and the services. It also bridges the gap between the development and the IT operations team. It is given by prioritizing the automation, continuous integration, continuous deployment, and infrastructure as a code. It also enables the organizations to build, test, and release the software securely at a high level rate. This is the process that is the developers and testers plus IT operators. This is the process of DevOps. And this also allows a single team to handle the entire application lifecycle from the development to testing, deployment, and the operations. This DevOps helps you to reduce the disconnection between the software developers, quality assurance engineers, and system administrators. And this is the basics of DevOps. Here, first, the process is we will plan, code, build, test, release, deploy, operate, and then monitor. These are the whole basic process of DevOps. And this is the culture of DevOps. First one is collaboration, that is between the developers and the IT operators. Second one is process. It codes, plans, monitors, deploys, and then it goes for the continuous integration. That process will be in a cyclic manner. And the tools what are we are going to use for the DevOps process. Next is cyclic versus continuous delivery. Here, cyclic means it will take off months, weeks, or years. First, in old version, we will do the coding, build it, test it, release it, and then we will operate it. But in the new generation process, that is in the continuous delivery process, it comes to a new way that first it builds, test, release, operate, and then the coding process will be in a cyclic manner. This is the cyclic versus continuous delivery process. Next is the task of DevOps engineers, that is the roles and responsibilities of the engineers. Here, the engineer must be an excellent system administrator. Then they will deploy the virtualization process. Then the hands-on experience in network and the storage process will obtain. And the last, it will gain the knowledge of codes, whatever it will, it will take in a long way, and the operation process will decker, and then it will give the output for us. Here, the engineer must have a soft skill that they can be in a team or they have to lead a team. Next is understanding the automation tools. What are the tools we are going to give? The engineer must understand it and then he want to evaluate it. And next is knowledge of testing. And the final process is security aspects of the IT organization. Here, it increases the project visibility through the traceability. It also improves the quality and reduces the development cost with the collaboration. Here, the DevOps should have the soft skills of problem solver and the quick learner. It must analyze, design, and evaluate the automation steps of the systems. It should be able to perform the system troubleshooting and problem solving according to the platform and the application domains of the DevOps involved in it. Next, advantages. Here, the DevOps is an excellent approach for quick development and deployment of applications. It responds faster to the market changes and improves for the business growth. DevOps clears the respective process, which gives the clarity on the product development and the delivery process. It improves the customer experience and satisfaction. This DevOps simplifies the collaboration and places all the tools in the cloud for customers to access. Here, the DevOps means collective responsibility, which leads to better team engagement and productivity. These are the advantages of DevOps. Next, we are going to see the disadvantages. DevOps professionals or experts developers are less available. Developing the DevOps is so expensive. Adapting the new DevOps technology into the industries is hard to understand and manage in a short time period. Here, the lack of DevOps knowledge can be a problem in the continuous integration for automation projects. These are the disadvantages of the DevOps. Next, why we are using the DevOps. The operation and the development team work in the complete isolation. After the design is built, the testing and the deployment are performed respectively. That's why they consumed more time than the actual build cycles. Without the use of the DevOps, the team members are spending a large amount of time on designing, testing, and deploying instead of building the project. Here, the manual code development and deployment leads to human errors in the production. So, holding an operation and taking them to the separate process of timelines are not used in a synchronization process because it causes further delays. So, we are using the DevOps process. This is the architecture of the DevOps. First, we are planning, coding, building, testing, releasing, deploying, operating, and then we are monitoring the whole process. So here the components of the DevOps are build, plan, test, code, build, release, operate, deploy, and then monitor. These are the whole components of the DevOps. First, we are planning. The DevOps uses agile methodology to plan the development. With the operations and the deployment team in synchronization, it helps in organizing the work to plan according to increase the productivity of the process. Next is build process. Without DevOps, the cost of the consumption of the resources was evaluated based on the predefined individual usage with fixed hardware allocations. And with the DevOps, the use of cloud sharing of the resources comes into the picture. And the build is dependent upon the user's needs wherever it needs, which is the mechanism to control the usage of resources or the capacity of the system. Third process is code. Here, many good practices such as GitHub enables the code to be used in a step-by-step process, which ensures writing the code for business helps to track the changes and getting notified about the reasons behind the differences in the actual and the expected output. And if it is necessary, reverting to the original code it is developed. The code can be appropriately arranged in files, folders, and they can be reused again. Next is test process. The application will be ready for production after testing. In case of manual testing, it consumes more time in testing and moving the code to the output. Here, the testing can be automated, which decreases the time for testing so that the time to delay the code to production can be reduced, thus automating the running of the scripts will remove many manual steps. Next process is operator. Here the operation team interacts with the developers and they come with the monitoring plans, which serves the IT and the business recruitment. Next is monitor. Continuous monitoring is used to identify any risk of failure. It also helps in tracking the system accurately so that the health of the application can be checked again and again. Next is deploy. Many systems can support the scheduler for automated deployment. The cloud management platform enables the users to capture accurate insights and view the optimization scenario analytics on trends by the deployment of the dashboards. Next is release. Here, the deployment to an environment can be done by automation, but when the deployment is made to the production environment, it is done by manual triggering. And these are the features of the DevOps architecture. First one is automation, collaboration, configuration, and then integration. These are the basic features of the DevOps process. Here, first collaboration. In collaboration, forecasting the partnerships between the development and the operation teams for improving the communications and the transparency process. It also evangelizes the philosophies, practices, and tools throughout the organization. It identifies and communicates existing bottlenecks, inefficiencies, and issues the affecting product quality or releases the schedules according to the one by one process. It also provides guidance and mentors to development and the operation teams to adhere to optimal procedures and the processes. Next is automation. In automation, building and maintaining the automation pipelines and workflows like CA bar CD pipelines, Jenkins and Bamboos, etc. can be used. Next, creating the automated scripts for testing and deployment processes. Here, developing, managing, and publishing cloud infrastructures and services also provided. Containerizing the applications and managing the container clusters, and it also registers the process according to the sectors if needed. Automating the security controls and configures the management of the system. You're writing the code to automate respective tasks is done again and again according to the process we needed. Next is configuration management and thus monitoring and optimization. In this instrumenting the applications for monitoring and logging. It integrates and analyzes the application and done the performance metrics and logs using tools like Splunk, Nagios, or App Dynamics. And the next it performs routine audits to ensure the quality, reliability, and security standards that are upheld. In this, the turning process, tuning and the scaling systems for the optimal performance and efficiencies can be done one by one. It also helps the team establish true effective matrices based on the business goals. It also identifies the technical depth and minimizes its impact. And the last process is integration. In this, the root cause analysis on the defects and outages to prevent the recursions also performed. It also builds the feedback loop so that the development team can learn quickly from these incidents. Then developing the policies, procedures, and training programs, it also uses the conducting to a DevOps culture. It analyzes the effectiveness of the development systems and also does the operations according to the procedures one by one process. These are the basic features of the DevOps architecture. Here, the automation can reduce the time consumption, especially during the testing and the deployment phases. This productivity increases and releases that are made quicker by automation. This will lead in catching the bugs quickly so that it can be fixed easily. For continuous delivery, each code is defined through the automated tests, cloud-based services, and it builds the infrastructure process. This also promotes the production using automated deploys. Next, collaboration. In this, the development and the operation team collaborates as a DevOps team, which improves the cultural model as the teams it becomes more productive with their productivity, which strengthens the accountability and ownership. Here, the team shares their responsibilities and works closely in the synchronization, which in turn makes the deployment to production faster. Next is integration. In the integration phase, where the existing code is combined with a new functionality and then it is tested. Continuous integration and testing enables the continuous deployment and development. The frequencies in the releases and the microservices leads to the significant operation challenges. To overcome such problems, continuous integration and delivery are implemented to deliver in a quicker, safer, and a reliable manner. Next is configuration management. It also ensures the applications to interact with only those resources that are concerned with the environment in which it runs again and again. The configuration file can be written during deployment or they can be loaded at the runtime, depending on the environment in which it is running. This is the whole process of the Devops life cycle. Here, it does the development, operation, integration, deployment, testing, feedback, and then monitoring. Here, DevOps defines an agile relationship between the operations and the development. It is a process that is practiced by the development team and operational engineers together from the beginning to the final stages of the project. Next is continuous development. This phase involves the planning and coding of the software. The vision of the project is decided during the planning phase, and the developers begin developing the code for the applications. Next is continuous integration. In this, it is a software development practice in which the development and the developers requires to commit the changes to the source code more frequently. This may be on a daily or a weekly basis. Then every commit is built and this allows yearly detection of problems if they are present. Building code is not only involved in a compilation process, but it also includes unit testing, integration testing, code review process, and packaging. The code supporting new functionality is continuously integrated with the existing code. Therefore, there is no continuous development of the software process. Then the updated code needs to be integrated continuously and smoothly with the system to reflect the changes to the end users. These are the whole process of the DevOps lifecycle. Next, we are going to see the process of Jenkins. Here, Jenkins is nothing but it is a popular tool and it is used in the phases wherever there is a change in the Git repository. That is, then the Jenkins fetches the updated code and prepares a build of that code which is executable file in the form of a var or a jar. This Jenkins is a leading open source automated server. It is automated to build, test, and development and deployment of the software. It also enables the developers to implement the continuous integration and continuous delivery pipelines effortlessly. Here it does the process of continuous testing. Here in this continuous testing, where the developed software is continuously tested and used for the bugs that are present in it. For constant testing, automation testing tools such as Test Engine, JUnit, Selenium, etc. are used. These tools allows the QAs to test multiple code bases thoroughly in parallel to ensure that there is no flaw in the functionality. In this phase, Docker contains can be used for simulating the testing environment process. Here, this is the process. We have the key features and the users. In this, it automatically pulls down the code from the repositories and it compiles it, runs it automatically, does the test process and deploys the application. It also runs on Java making it compatible with the Windows, Linux, Mac, and cloud environments. Here, it uses a master slave architecture to describe and distribute the heavy bulk load across the multiple machines wherever it needed. This is the process and the key features and uses of the Jenkins. Next, it does the continuous monitoring process. In this continuous monitoring process, it is a phase that involves all the operational factors than in the entire DevOps process, where important information about the use of the software is recorded and carefully processed to find the use of the software, and it is recorded and carefully processed to find out the trends and identifies the problem areas wherever it is present. And usually the monitoring is integrated within the operational capabilities of the software applications. It may occur in the form of documentation files or maybe produces large scale data about the application parameters when it is in a continuous use position. The system error such as server is not reachable in a low memory etc. are resolved in this phase. It also maintains the security and availability of the servers. Next is continuous feedback. The application development is continuously improved by analyzing the results from the operations of the software. This is carried out by placing the critical phase of constant feedback between the operations and the development of the next version of the current software applications. It is also essential to ensure that the code is correctly used on all the servers. These are the manual process. First, the team is ensured it use the SCM and the VCS process, and it's sent to the CI server. Again, it checks the process of SCM and VCS, and finally, it deploys and produces the output for us. This is the manual process of the Jenkins. Next, we are going to see about the DevOps principles. DevOps, it is first end-to-end responsibility. It is in this the DevOps team needs to provide the performance support until they become the end of life. It also enhances the responsibility and the quality of the products that is needed for the engineers. It's continuous improvement. In this, DevOps culture focuses on continuing the improvement to minimize the waste. It continuously speeds up the growth of products or services that are offered currently. Next is automated reporting. In this, it is an essential principle of the DevOps process. This is for software development and also for the entire infrastructure at scale. Next is custom-centric action. In this, the DevOps team has to take customer-centric for that they should continuously invest in the products and the services they need. Next is monitor and test everything. The DevOps team needs to take robust monitoring and testing procedures. Here, next is work of one time. In this DevOps culture, all of the designers, developers, and the testers are already defined. All they needed to do the workers as one team with a complete collaboration. Next process is DevOps practices. In this, some identified DevOps practices are done. First one is self-service configuration. Second, continuous build. Third, continuous integration. Fourth, continuous delivery. Fifth, incremental testing. Sixth, automated provisioning. Seven, automated release management. These are the DevOps practices. Next is DevOps tools. These are the tools. Here we use the GitHub, Zeta, Maven, Gradle, JUnit, Bamboo, Hansen. By using the Jenkins and the integration process, we are doing all these tools. And we are using all these tools for the military process. Next is Docker, Vagrant, Puppet, Chef, Ansible, Salt Stack, Nagios, and Splunk. These are the DevOps tools. These are the codings and the process for the DevOps tools. Next is CI bar CD pipelines. Here, the CI bar CD pipelines automates the process of the software delivery. In this, it also builds the code, runs tests, and then helps to safely deploy a new version of the software. It also reduces the manual errors, provides feedback to the developers, and allows the fast production. This is the complete process of CI/CD pipeline. First, it commits, builds, tests according to the stages, and last it deploys it. And then finally, you use the development process and the production. Now, in continuous integration, the integration phase is where the existing code is combined with the new functionality and then it is tested. Next, continuous integration. It is a software development method where the members of the team can integrate their work at least once a day. In this method, every integration is checked by an automated way to search the error. Next, continuous deployment. It is a software development process where the code changes to an application or released automatically into the production environment. It also helps the testers to validate. It also helps the testers to validate whether the code base changes are correct and it is stable or not for the process. And these are the stages. First, we are giving the source, building, testing, and then deploying. In the source, first we are giving the git push position. Next, we are in the second stage of build, we are compiling. And the third stage, we are testing using unit testing or integration testing. And in the last process, we are using the deployment. Here, these are the stages. In the source stage, the CI by CD pipeline is generated by a code repository. Any change in the program generates a notification to the CI by CD tool that runs on an equivalent pipeline. Next is build stage. In this build stage, um, this is the second process. It also merges the source code where the programs that are written in the languages like the C++, Java, or C languages should be compiled safely. Next is test stage. This includes the execution of automated tests to validate the correctness of the code and the behavior of the software. Next, deploy stage. This is the last stage where your product goes live. Once the build has successfully passed through all the required test scenarios, it is ready to deploy to the live server. And next is advantages here. The CI bar CD pipeline can streamline the communication. It can automate the process of a software delivery. It helps to achieve faster customer feedback. It also helps to increase the productivity. It also helps to manage and make the software development lifecycle faster. It improves the communication between the organization employees. Next is by using Jenkins. Jenkins is a open source continuous integration tool that helps to achieve the continuous integration process in an automated stage. Jenkins is a free and it is entirely written in Java process. It is used to build and test software projects continuously and making it easier to the developers to integrate the changes to the project and making it easier for the users to obtain a fresh build. And this is the architecture of the Jenkins. Here, the developers first use the process, then it generates by the GitHub process, and then it accepts to it gives to the server. That is, it gives the command, build, test stages, and then deploy. And finally, it gives the production process, and finally, it gives the production process for the servers. Next is Jenkins architecture. By brief explanation, The developers takes the code from the repository and make the changes in the code as per the requirement. This Jenkins master checks the repository regularly after a fixed time interval. When the Jenkins gets some new executable file with new codes or some changes in the developer's previous codes, it compiles through the codes instantly. After the compilation process, when the server gets an error in the developers, it builds the code, sends an alert message to the developer, and if the code is clean, it will deploy to the production department. And features of the Jenkins. Jenkins will build and test the code many times during the day. It automatically builds and tests the process, saves the time, and reduces the defects. Then the code is deployed after every successful stage. The development process is too fast. These are the core tools of the Jenkins. First is version control. In this, we are using GitLab and Bitbucket. Second is CI bar CD pipelines. In this, we are using Jenkins, Circle CI, and GitHub Actions. And third one is containerization and orchestration. In this, we are using the Docker and the Kubernetes. Fourth one is infrastructure as a code. In this, we are using the Terraform and the Ansible. And the fifth one is monitoring and logging. In this, we are using the Promotes, Grafana, and the Datadog tools. And the advantages are here, it accelerates the time to the market, enhances the collaboration and culture of the Devops tools, and are highly used in the reliability and quality process. It fastest the problem solving and rollbacks, and it reduces the costs. These are the advantages. And the last is the disadvantages. It securely concerns the process of the security and deducts the cost and the cultural changes, and last it combines the software development with the IT operations. And thank you so much. The whole process will be interesting. I think we have seen the whole process of the introduction to DevOps. As I am mentioned, that is the DevOps. What is DevOps? Why we are using the DevOps? What are the advantages and disadvantages of DevOps? What are the DevOps principles? What are the DevOps tools and DevOps basics? DevOps lifecycle. As such, we have seen like in the Jenkins process also how it is used in CI bar CD pipelines and how it is used in DevOps, and last the advantages and disadvantages of the Jenkins that is used in the DevOps. Thank you so much.